So let's go to the introduction part of IoT, and let's talk about this, that what is the meaning of IoT and how it is helping us. Now it is written one sentence. It says that IoT has gradually transformed the way daily tasks are completed. Now, if we'll go to this particular sentence, it says that IoT is everywhere, and we are actually surrounded with different IoT applications. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are using all those related IoT applications and those IoT infrastructure. If we'll talk about a simple thing, like in your home, you use the mobile phone, right? So in the mobile phone, when you book an Ola, so you can easily see what is the location of your car is and how it is moving towards you, how much time it is taking. This is a great application of IoT, where the vehicle which is assigned to you is connected to the cloud, and it is sending its location information to the cloud. You are also connected with the same cloud of Ola, and you can actually find it out what is the location of the vehicle is. Another application, if you take, let's say you order your food from Zomato or some other application, that is also using the same thing, right? So the vehicle is attached with the GPS system, and this GPS system is sending the information to the cloud about the location of the vehicle, and you can easily identify it. If we'll take other example, whoever is there in Bhubaneswar and Cuttack region, they know about Mobus, right? So what is in the application of Mobus? So you might have seen, like, you can know the current location of your bus. Let's say you fill your source and destination, you know that how many buses are coming. Or if you are in the station, bus station, so it will tell you that what is the expected time when a bus will arrive here, right? This is the classic information of IoT. If we'll talk about the smart city applications, like your transport system, like your street light system, all those are different applications of IoT. I think most of you know about the smartwatch, right? So I also have the smartwatch with me, and this particular smartwatch will take your steps reading and take your calorie count, right? That how much exercises you have done, how much activity you have performed, and based on that, it will calculate that how much work you have done, how much step you are, what is your strength of your night sleep, whether you have a deep sleep or you have a light sleep, how many times you woke up in between, what is your heart rate, is there any irregularity in your heart rate, right? So all those things will be collected here and sent to the cloud. Let's say if this is one product of one company, so the data will go to the cloud of that particular company, and you can see it, right, from the application. The same thing, if we'll take another example, you all know about this, right? Okay, let me show you. If you all can see me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So So this is one device, right? This is a device from Amazon. This device is called Alexa, right? So whenever I say a name, it will be wake up.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay, Alexa, what is the temperature today?
Right now, in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, it's 30 degrees Celsius. Today, expect a high of 33 degrees. Have a great morning.
Alexa, what is the status of my order?
A package for Suraj's order, placed on the 11th of September, should arrive Thursday, the 17th of September, containing cat food.
Thank you, Alexa. So this is how we are transforming our daily life, right? And what we are doing is we are actually changing our lifestyle, and slowly we are surrounding with all these IoT infrastructure. If you know about a smart home, so whenever I connect my all appliances with Alexa, so with the help of this Alexa, actually I can uh, control whole appliances of my home or my office, right? So it is what it is doing actually. Why we are using this IoT? So the answer of all those questions we'll see later on. That how it is working, why it is required, what is IoT, and all those things we'll clear it up today. So you gradually understood that what I want to say to you. Let's talk about the definition of IoT and what is this IoT is. So the IoT is nothing but an ecosystem of connected physical objects that are accessible through the internet. So the first sentence says that your Internet of Thing is nothing but connected physical objects. So we say it is an Internet of Things means any objects can be connected with the internet. Any physical object can be connected with the internet, and that is accessible through the internet, right? We can access it. If you have a great example of that, you take a smart camera, okay? You might have known the different type of a smart camera. That camera you can put in your home, and you can access that particular camera from anywhere from the world, right? You might have seen different uh, ads of ACs, right? ACs can be controlled by a person from anywhere with the help of the app. So how it is happening actually? It is happening because all those physical objects, those objects are connected with the internet, and you are also connected with the internet. So connect. So whatever request you want to send, you can send it, and whatever data you want to get, you can get it from that particular devices. So these objects are actually connected with the internet, and through the internet actually you can access all those devices. Now the next thing it says that the thing in IoT could be a person with a heart monitor or an automobile with a built-in sensors, right? So the thing that we are talking about can be a person. So person is also connected with the internet. How? Through the smartwatch, let's say. Why? These smartwatch has different sensors. These sensors will sense your activities, will count your steps, will find out what is your heartbeat, what are the different activity you are doing, and based on that, based on those data in the cloud, there will be the calculations, and based on the calculation, it will give you that how many calorie you have burned today, how much kilometer you walk today, how much time you are in sleep, how much time you are in awake, how much time you are in active state, how much time you are in the idle state. All those things can be seen to you. So that is nothing but an object which is connected with that, and everybody can see it. So I can see the health of my family, right? This with the help of this particular cloud. As well as if we'll talk about automobile systems, which is, let's say, the car or some more other systems which are having built-in sensors which will tell you the health of the car, how much how much more it can go with this particular petrol or diesel it has, what is the location of this particular car, where it is moving, right? So all those things can also be done with the help of this particular technology which is called Internet of Things. Now the object that has been assigned an IP address and has the ability to collect and transfer data over the network without manual assistant or intervention. So the next thing about IoT, it says that those objects that have assigned the IP addresses and have the ability to collect and transfer the data over the network without manual assistant or intervention. So these objects which are connected with the internet can transfer as well as receive the data without human intervention, without human interaction, right? So if we'll take the example of, let's say, yeah, simple. If we'll take the example of Alexa, if we'll give any command to the Alexa, what it will do is it will just generate the appropriate answer and give back to you. So do you think that this particular device has all those power for processing to going there? And no, what it is doing is it is connected with the cloud of Amazon, and whenever we give any command to the Alexa, that command will go to the cloud. In the cloud there will be a processing of that command, and based on that query the reply will be generated and Alexa will tell you the reply, right? Without any intervention of the human being. Let's say we'll take another example of it. Let's say we'll talk about a smart building or a smart home. Whenever we are reaching to a particular room, it will find out the existence of the human being in this particular room, and based on the temperature it will on the AC and put the temperature in a proper uh, centigrade or in a proper temperature. Or if we are leaving that particular room, so without the intervention of the human being, what it will do is it will automatically find it out that there is no human being. It will switch off the light, it will switch off the appliances, right? So if we are doing these type of thing in which the data will be transferred, data will be collected without human interaction, that is an example of IoT. So if we'll take any example of IoT, we have all those examples where human is actually not interacting uh, to it to do all those things. It will do automatically by itself. So I think you understood what do you mean by IoT, right? Let's talk about why IoT. This why is a very good uh, term, right? Very good question. That why we need that particular technology in today's life. Now, this particular technology is not a new technology, right? That is the technology has been asked previously that these technology is required. But right now, because of the worldwide internet connectivity, because of the computational power, and because of we have a very low cost devices, it is very easy to deploy an IoT infrastructure. Let's talk about why we require IoT. So In the article by Aston, published in RFID Journal in 1999, in that particular article, he says that if we had computers that know everything, there was to know about things using data they gather without any help of us. We would be able to track and count everything and gradually reduce waste, loss, and cost. We would know when things needed replacing, repairing, or recalling, and whether were fresh or past their best. We need to empower computer with their own means of gathering information so they can hear, they can see, they can smell the world for themselves in all its random glory. So today we talk about AI, right? Today we talk about autonomous vehicles. So what is the concept of the autonomous vehicle? The concept has been framed previously, right, in 1999. So maybe 20 year back, that has been framed. But today we see that it is in the reality. These autonomous vehicle, what is that autonomous vehicle? In the autonomous vehicle, there is uh, no driver, right? Nobody is driving this car. This car is driving itself. Now, how it is doing that? It is doing that through different sensors. It has different camera in which these vehicle can see. These vehicle has many sensors in which they will find out what is the speed, what is the location, how much we are moving, right? Is anybody is in front of me? If there is a vehicle in front of me, where it is going, whether it is going straight, left, or right. So all these things can be done through different type of sensors. And these different type of sensors generates different type of data. So like a human being has different sensors, like we can taste, we can smell, we can see, we can feel, right? So all those things can we do with the electronics, and can we make a computer which can have all those senses like a human being? So if we give all those senses to the computer or to a particular robot, so that robot can also act as a human being and can make the decisions accordingly. So here the IoT infrastructure plays the main role to making all those things in reality, to making this internet of vehicle, and through that the autonomous car a reality. Still there are research going on in autonomous car. Many companies like Mercedes, Tesla, right, BMW, and many other car manufacturing company, they are actually working on these technologies, and they are using the infrastructure which we build today. Means, let's say the 20-year back, if somebody is in the project of autonomous car, it is very difficult to make it implement. But in today's technology, it is possible, where internet is available very easily. We can pinpoint the location of any object. Not with the GPS, we have some more other technology. Based on that, we can do the localization of any object, whether it is an electronic object or a non-electronic object. Means, let's say a human being, a chair, whatever object it is, we can actually pinpoint locate it with the help of GPS plus enhancement of all these algorithm which has been developed through through different type of research for the localization. So what I want to tell you is why we required IoT. We required IoT to implement all those other technologies. As I told you, one example, of Internet of Vehicles. Through that, we say that it is a reality to make a autonomous car, right? It's a big project. Many companies are putting billions of dollars to do it. So to enable all those things, we need IoT actually. Second thing, it is helping us in everything. It is helping us to make our home efficient through the smart home technology, to make our home secure through the IoT technology, how we can reduce the consumption of energy. Energy, if I'm talking about energy, it is electrical energy, how we can reduce it through the IoT. So this is one example of a smart home. If we'll talk about industrial Internet of Things, where IoT is playing a vital role to reduce the wastage in the industry and to increase the production. And if we are reducing the losses or reducing the wastage, so definitely we are actually increasing the revenue of the system, right? So all those are the necessity. That's why we required IoT in today's world. This is precisely what IoT platform does to us. What it will do? It enables devices object to observe, identify, and understand a situation or the surrounding without being dependent on human help. So without a human help, an object can understand something. Now, how an object will understand something? It will understand something based on which sensor we are putting on the object. So if we are clear with the how, with the why, let's talk about how. That how we actually create a IoT infrastructure, right? How we can create the IoT infrastructure. Let's talk about that first, and then we'll go to other questions. Now, let's say I want to make to connect my fan to the internet. Fan, let's say my ceiling fan to the internet. Why? The first question is, why you want to connect the fan to the internet? Now I want to connect my fan to the internet so that I can monitor as well as I can control it from anywhere. Okay, let's take the example of that. Now for that, what we have to do? Let's say I want to connect my fan to the internet, then what we have to do? So the first thing that is required for that is the sensor. I have to put a sensor into the fan. It will tell me that whether the fan is on or off. So just like here our work will be over with the help of a relay. So if relay will be on or relay will be off, that we can find it out very easily. So in that way, we can find it out whether my fan is on or my fan is off. So I put a sensor on it, and this sensor can able to generate the data and send it to the cloud. And from the cloud, actually I'll be connected. So I can actually control it and I can actually monitor. Let's take another example. Let's say I want to connect the object, let's say the chair to the internet. Now the question arises, why you want to connect a chair to the internet? The answer is very simple. I want to monitor whether the chair is occupied or chair is not occupied. That is my objective. Now to fulfill that objective, what we required? We required some sort of sensor which will tell me that somebody is sitting in the chair or somebody or nobody is sitting in the chair. So I'll put a very small sensor. I'll put the IR sensor. I'll put some sort of pressure sensor on that. It will tell me that whether the chair is occupied or whether the chair is not occupied. Getting it? So first thing, what we require to make IoT infrastructure. So we required sensors. We have different type of sensors. As I told you, in a human body, we have different sensors, right? In which we can test, we can smell, we can see, we can hear, we can feel. We can feel the pressure, right? We can feel the heat, right? We can feel the wind, right? We can see everything with our eyes. We can smell, we can hear the sound. So all those things, can we make uh, a computer system or a computing device to understand? So it can understand all those things through different type of sensors. And these sensors are converting the physical phenomena into a digital form. Let's say if it is a temperature sensor, it will sense the temperature of the environment and give it to you. If it is a pressure sensor, it will sense the pressure, how much pressure that particular sensor has is having. It will generate uh, a digital number to it, and it will give it to us. And based on these sensors, actually we are generating those data, computing it, and telling that that chair is occupied or chair is not occupied, door is closed or door is not closed. How you'll identify? You put some sort of sensor will tell you my fridge is open or my fridge is closed. How can we identify, right? So if we want to connect any object to the internet, the first thing is why you want to connect. If you are clear with why, then the answer of how is we can connect it through the sensor. Very easy. I'll let you know different examples by it, and I'll show you some examples related to it. Okay. Let's talk about other questions. That what is the scope of IoT and what IoT can do, right? So this IoT can connect devices embedded in various systems to the internet. When devices or these objects can represent themselves digitally, they can be controlled from anywhere. So what is that? These devices are actually, we want it to connect to the internet. Now, if I want a chair to be connected to the internet, is it possible with a sensor? No, it is not at all possible with a sensor. So with the sensor, we have to put some more devices, and that particular devices should be connected with the internet, right? Without that, it is not at all possible to connect a chair to the internet. How it is possible? Now the same thing is once this particular object is connected with the internet, so what we can do, a human being can do. And why we are doing that? A human want to connect a chair to the internet to see whether it is occupied or it is not occupied. So what is the purpose? The purpose is monitoring. So a human being use the internet technology for two major things. One thing is monitoring the object. Let's say I want to know the health of my car. In the car, there are different sensors. These sensors are generating the data. If some sort of applications are there in which I can see all those data which my car is sending to the cloud, so I can see it, and I can, based on that data, the cloud will do the analysis and give it to me whether your car is the health of the car is very good, or the health of the car is there is a problem, there is a replacement required of oil, there is a replacement required of some sort of parts. All these things uh, can be possible with the IoT infrastructure. So what is the first purpose of IoT infrastructure? The first purpose is to monitor the object. Whatever object which we have connected to the internet, I want to monitor it. Second, I want to control it. Control it means, let's say if I'll talk about the fan, or if I'll talk about the AC appliances. So the appliances, I can control it. I can on, off, I can reduce the temperature, I can increase the temperature, I can reduce and increase the fan speed of my AC, I can reduce and increase the movement of the airflow of my AC. All those things can be done. So that is the controlling of it. As well as monitoring, I can see that what my AC is doing right now. This is on, off, right? So there are two purposes of IoT infrastructure. So whenever we create an IoT infrastructure, first we want to monitor that particular object which we have connected to the internet. Second, we want to control it, and both we want to do remotely. I am physically not here and I am physically not near to the object, but I want to monitor as well as I want to control those objects through the internet. And both is required or is the purpose of the IoT. That's why we are making the IoT infrastructure. There are two simple requirements. First, monitor. Second, control. Both can be done remotely. So the connectivity that help us capture more data from other places, ensure more way of increasing efficiency and improve safety and IoT security. IoT is a transformational force that can help companies to improve performance through IoT analytics and IoT security to deliver better results. So IoT infrastructure is very much popular in the industries. So we have IIoT, that is called Industrial Internet of Things, which is a subset of Industry 4.0 technology. Businesses in the utility, oil and gas, insurance, manufacturing, transportation, infrastructure, and retail sector can take the benefit of IoT by making more informed decision aided by the tolerant of interaction and transactional data at their deposit. So what it want to say, it want to say what is the scope of the IoT. The scope of the IoT is very vast. So we can use the IoT infrastructure anywhere we want. If we want to monitor any object, we can do that. If we want to control any object, we can do that, right? Now, how this IoT will help us, right? How this IoT will help us. So it might be clear in why also, why IoT. Let's talk about how this IoT can help us. This is another question. IoT platform can help organization to reduce costs through improved process efficiency, asset utilization, and productivity. To increase the productivity, to asset utilization, to improve the process efficiency, based on that, the businesses can be increased. With improved tracking of device object, using sensors and connectivity, they can benefit from real-time insight and analysis that would help them make smart decisions. Let's say we'll talk about a factory where we have the raw materials and there are different parts in the factory where in some part there are a packaging part, in some part there are raw material collection part, there are some assembly part, and at last we have the inventory part, right? So all those parts are connected with the internet, and every object can be monitored and can be shown in the screen. So who are managing that particular factory, for him it is very easy to find it out how much raw material it has, my packaging machines are working well or not, in the inventory how many objects are there, what is the position of those objects. So all those things can be monitored very easily, can be managed, and if there is a problem in any of the section, that manager will easily find it out the faults, right? The growth and convergence of data, processes, and things in the internet would make such connections more relevant and important, creating more opportunity for people, business, and industries. So this IoT is helping us in many ways. You might have the applications of smart cities, right? So in the smart city, as we all know that without IoT infrastructure, smart city is not at all possible, right? So a smart city is possible if you want to connect the hospitalization system, if you want to connect the transportation system, if you want to connect the waste management system, if you want to connect uh, the the power distribution system, you need the IoT infrastructure to do that, right? So it is a very important, uh, you can say, very important content in the smart city concept. So Mobus is a example of a smart city, right? Where we can easily monitor the public transportation system. Now, this is an important concept of IoT. It will tell you the major component of IoT. So we'll talk about different major component of IoT, and we'll discuss it in a very proper way so that you can understand what do we mean by IoT. Now, many people are saying that if we'll connect any device to the internet, it will become IoT infrastructure. Or somebody is saying that you have made a automated lock. If you made a automated, let's say, small toy car. If you made automated gate or automated door, it is an example of IoT. But actually, that is not the example of IoT. Automation of anything, we cannot say it is an IoT infrastructure, right? So what is IoT infrastructure? So there are 5 components related to IoT infrastructure. So all these components we'll see one by one here. So you all have heard about Internet of Things. IoT is a transformation process of connecting our smart devices and objects to network to perform efficiently and access remotely. So what is the requirement of it? As I told you, there are 2 requirements. First, what we want to monitor it. We want to monitor any object, or we want to access any object, and we want to do that remotely. We want to do all those things remotely. We want to monitor the thing or the object remotely, as well as we want to access those things remotely. So these 2 are the things that we require in IoT infrastructure. Now, how it is possible? It is possible through this 5 component of IoT. Okay, so let's talk about these 5 components one by one. So the first component of IoT is things or devices that we talk about. The things or the devices means anything that we want to connect, that is nothing but the thing, right? Or if you want to connect any devices, right? So that is your first component. This first component is also called wireless sensor network. So many of you have heard about this concept, which is called wireless sensor network. Is a network of sensors which are connected to each other wirelessly. Means, let's say we have an object, we have put a sensor on it, we have put some computing power to it, and in that way we are actually connecting all different objects in a particular area. Let's say if we'll talk about the concept of a smart home. So in the smart home, let's say all the appliances we want to connect to the and we want to make the IoT infrastructure. So do you think that in each and every object I'll give the IP address? It is not possible, right? I cannot give the IP address to each and every devices, each and every appliances of my home to make it or to connect it to the internet. So what we do, we make the network of sensors. Means let's say we have, let's say 5 appliances. So we have, let's say appliances 1, appliances 2, appliances 3, and appliances 4 and 5. So we have 5 appliances in my home, and I want to connect all those 5 appliances, and we want to make the IoT infrastructure. So I'll make it. So what I'll do is I'll put the sensors on all those appliances, and I'll put some sort of computing capacity to all those devices. And this particular computing device, which is connected with the sensors, can actually convert the reading of the sensor into the digital form. It can process it, and it can also communicate it. It can also communicate it. So how it is communicating? It is communicating maybe to each other, or maybe to another device which is called gateway. So we have all those appliances, okay, in my home. Let's say we have some appliances in my home, and all those appliances are having the sensors, and inside that they are having some processing capacity, some capacity of communication. And so these are not connected with the internet. Do you think that, if we'll take an example here, somebody is having the confusion like, if the object is not connected with the internet, how it is called Internet of Things, right? Let's take an example. If we talk about the smartwatch that I am wearing, right? Do you think that this smartwatch is connected to the internet? No, it is not connected to the internet. It is connected to my phone through Bluetooth. And this phone is connected to the internet. So you see, your smartwatch, which is an example of IoT, is not at all connected with the Internet of Things. It is connected with your mobile phone. This mobile phone here acts as a gateway node. And this gateway node, what is the meaning of gateway? Gateway is nothing but the interface between these devices and the cloud. Okay, so let's talk about, we have these devices which is having the sensors, and which is having the capacity of processing and communication. So let's talk about, here we have a gateway node. So this is a gateway node here. Now what these devices will do is, these devices are generating the data and send it to its nearby node. This particular nearby node will send the data to the gateway node. Now here also we'll do the same thing. That this node, because it is far from the gateway node, it will send it to nearby node. This nearby node to send to another nearby node, and this nearby node will send to the gateway node. So that particular part is nothing but the part of wireless sensor network, where all the object in which we are putting the sensor, as well as we are putting the processing and computational capacity, which can also communicate, are called sensor node. Okay, these sensor nodes are making the network. That particular network is called wireless sensor network, and these wireless sensor network can communicate with each other, as well as they can communicate with the gateway node. So I think you understood it. That is called wireless network, and it is also called wireless sensor network. They are actually generating the data. So sensor are generating the data and sending it to the gateway node. Now what that gateway node is. So the gateway node is a node which has the IP address, and it is connected with the internet. So any computing device which is having the public IP address is directly connected with the internet, or which has the private IP address can have the access to the public domain server is also connected with the internet. So we'll not go to the technicality of network. We just have a simple concept of the gateway node. And this gateway node will act as a interface between the wireless sensor network and the cloud. Okay, so I think you might understood the concept of the first, you can say the first concept of this. So the first concept, what it says is, it says that the first component of the IoT infrastructure is the thing or the device that we want to connect. That thing and the device, technically it is a sensor node, and these particular sensor node are called wireless sensor network, and it is a sensor network. So the first part is done, right? Now let's go to the second part, which is called a gateway node. Now the gateway node is nothing but a device which has the capacity of collecting the data from the sensor node, as well as it has the capacity of sending the data to the cloud. It means that the gateway node is a highly computational rich device, and it has the storage capacity, as well as it has the internet connectivity by which it can send its data to the cloud. So I think the concept is clear with the gateway node. So the gateway node is nothing but the interface between the wireless sensor network and the cloud. And this wireless sensor network are nothing but the sensors which we are putting inside the net, inside the object, to making that particular object would be connected to the internet. Now let's talk about the third part of, or the third component of IoT, which is called cloud. Now many of you know what do you mean by cloud, right? And many of you know the concept of cloud. Here we'll talk about cloud in very brief, and we have some more sessions in which we'll see that how we can define this particular concept, which is called cloud. Okay, so what is a cloud? So cloud is nothing but any problem? Okay, so the cloud is nothing but a computational capacity which are provided. That computational capacity, or this computing power, or this computing device, we can use it through the internet. So the cloud is nothing but some sort of remote computing system or some remote devices which a device or a human being can use through internet. So there is the capacity of computing power, or there are the capacity of computing, but these computing infrastructure or these computing power we can only use through the internet. Okay, let's take an example of that. Let's take an example of the cloud. Let's say you want to use Google Drive. Okay, Google Drive is an example of cloud, and this particular Google Drive is provided to you by the Google. If you'll open a Gmail account or Gmail suite, so I urge to mute yourself. There is some noise which is coming. Okay, so this, if we'll talk about this Google Drive, so what happened into the Google Drive? We can actually store whatever data we want into the Google Drive. So Google Drive is nothing but a storage media which is provided by the Google itself, and right now it is free of cost, and you can use it for storing the data, right? Another example, if we'll take about this cloud, let's say Amazon Web Services, AWS. In the Amazon Web Services or AWS, the Amazon will provide you a whole system of some operating system configured by you. You can use that particular system through the internet. You can put whatever application you want to put there. You can deploy your own website there. You can host your own website there. You can put the data whatever you want, and you can process it, right? So the data can be processed in that particular cloud. So in the cloud, what is cloud? So cloud is nothing but some computing capacity or some computing capability which is provided by the cloud service provider, which we can use through the internet. That is cloud. Now, what is the use of the cloud? So again, there are two usage of cloud. First, we can store the data into the cloud. Second, we can process the data, whatever we are putting into the cloud. So it can do two things. One, store the data into the cloud, and second, process the data. So cloud will do two things. And cloud is nothing but some sort of computing capability which are provided by some sort of cloud service provider. If it is a public cloud, you want to make your own cloud, you can make it your own cloud. It means that you have a server and you have a big computer, let's say highly capacity of computer. You'll make a virtual machine out of that particular computer, and that virtual machine is assigned to you. So that is nothing but your computing capacity which you can use remotely through the internet. That concept is called cloud. That is a very small concept of cloud, but inside the cloud there are more other concepts. So when we'll talk about the importance of cloud in IoT, in that particular topic we'll see in detail. So I think you understood. So the cloud is a computing capacity which we can use through the internet connectivity. What is the use of cloud? There are two usage of cloud. One, store the data. Second, process the data. Here also in the Internet of Things infrastructure, whenever these gateway node send the collected data of the wireless sensor network into the cloud, that cloud can store those data and it will do the processing of the data through different analytics algorithm. So this is the fourth component of IoT. We required some sort of analytics algorithm, some sort of machine learning algorithm, some sort of neural network, AI, deep learning algorithm, which will do the processing of those data which are generated by all those sensors and give you the results accordingly, right? So it required a sophisticated type of algorithm, which is the analytics by which we can get some meaningful information which we are putting into the cloud and getting the results. That is the purpose of the cloud. Okay, that is the purpose of the cloud. So and this analytics will help the cloud to do that. So it is our job to make the analytics, which type of machine learning algorithm we want to put. So why we need all those analytics into the data? Because these sensor nodes which are generating the data, this whole IoT infrastructure is generating the data. which is very large or very big amount of data which is generating. As well as these data are different type. Maybe is a structured data, maybe is a unstructured data, or maybe is a semi-structured data. So we have to do some sort of analytics on it. We have to do some sort of data analytics on it to get the results. Okay. And these results, whatever results that we are producing, that results will give to the user, through the user interface. So that is a fifth component of IoT. That is called user interface. Now, user interface is nothing but some sort of interface that is required by the user to actually monitor the data which are generated by the cloud. So the interfaces may be a web application that you can open with any type of browsers, or it will be a mobile application, let's say the Android apps or the iOS apps, or some sort of messages, maybe the WhatsApp messages which are given to the user, or some sort of normal messages which are given to the user. So all those medium is called user interfaces. Maybe the web application in which we can see the results, the mobile application in which we can see the results, or the SMS or the web or the WhatsApp app messages, or the email and all, to tell the user what is the result generated by these IoT devices, right? So if we'll take an example here, let's say we have a camera and this camera is generating the feed. These camera is on whenever there is a movement. It is generating the data and giving to the gateway node. Gateway node here is, let's say, the access point of your home. This access point is actually connected with the internet and has the application of the cloud into that particular camera, will send the data to the cloud of the company of that particular camera. Inside the cloud, it will get the live feed. It will do some sort of processing on it, and it will give this particular live feed to the user through different applications. So with the help of app of the camera, a user who is sitting in different location can see the live feed of the camera, right? If we'll take some more examples, like I want to monitor my appliances, I can do that. So these appliances are generating the data. These data will go to the gateway. Gateway will send it to the cloud. Cloud will do some sort of processing on it, some sort of cleaning on it, or some sort of processing on it. And based on that, it will say that which appliances are on or which appliances are off, which is working properly, which is not working properly, everything with the help of maybe the web application or the mobile application, and give to the user. So ultimately, we have to send the data to the user, right? If we'll not send the data to the user, then there is no use of IoT infrastructure. So IoT infrastructure is required by the user to monitor. This is the first thing. Second thing is a user need to control all those appliances, right? Need to control all those appliances. So if a user need to control all those appliances, how it can do that? So it can do that with the help of all those applications. So in the applications, let's say there is a button in which we can on an AC. So it will send that particular data to the cloud. So it will go to the cloud, that particular on and off button that has been switched on by the user. The cloud will send that particular information to the gateway node. Gateway node will choose that this instruction has come to a proper appliances, and this gateway node will give the signal to the proper appliances. And in the appliances, there is a relay, or there is an actuator, you can say. This actuator will actually on or off the appliances. So in this particular wireless sensor network, here we'll use two things. One is the sensor, another is the actuator. So one is a sensor that we'll use, which will generate the sense data and send it to the cloud, and from the cloud it will go to the send it to the cloud, and from the cloud it will go to the user. And the actuator is nothing but some sort of mechanical entity which will help for the movement, right? So if we want to on or off, or if we want to do any type of different things, we can easily do that. Okay, so about the security, somebody has asked the question about the security, how we can do that. So let me tell you about the security. There are different lectures that will be arranged for you in this particular FDP. So the security part we'll discuss in that particular FDP. So if I'll discuss the security part, it will take a lot of time. Security and privacy, it is a very big topic in IoT infrastructure, because this IoT infrastructure doesn't have a proper standard till now. So that's why the security and privacy is a concern here in the IoT infrastructure, because the cloud is the part of the IoT, so there is a problem. So I think you understood the whole 5 component of IoT, which is a basic building block of IoT. And and without any of these components, if you are creating IoT infrastructure, and if you are saying that it is an IoT infrastructure, so let me tell you, it is not correct. So any of the component, if it is missing, we say that it is not an IoT infrastructure. We need all those components here. Okay. I request all of you to mute yourself. There is still some problem is going on with the. So I request organizer to do that, to mute all the participants if it is possible. Yes. Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the towards the end of the lecture. Before that, let's talk about different things, because we have some hands-on which will be coming into the different sessions. So before that, I want to tell you different type of devices that we have, and I want to show you all those devices. Now here, if we'll see this particular slide, here we have different type of sensors, right? So as I told you, like a human being required different type of sensors to make the decisions, the devices or the objects also need different type of sensors to make the decisions. So we have some sensors like ultrasonic sensor. It will tell the proximity of the object. We have the smoke sensor, which will tell is there any smoke, and we can deploy it into the building for the fire alarm, right? We have a motion sensor, which will tell the motion of a human being. We have the temperature and humidity sensor, which will tell the environmental humidity and environmental temperature. We have sound sensor, clocks will use into the IoT infrastructure. Clock will be used, so it is a device that will use. Laser head, flame sensor. So there are different type of other sensors are there. Till sensor, soil sensor, raindrop sensor, path search sensor. Then we have vibration sensors, right? These are all maybe IR sensors are there, Hall sensors are there. So there are different type of sensors which we have. And I also have the sensor which is with me. So let me show you to all of you. So these are all different sensors which we have. Okay. These are the list of the sensors. If you can see, these are all different list of the sensors. And we have different sensors which we use for different purposes. Next thing that is required here is the sensor as well as actuator. So as I told you, in the sensor network, we have two things. One is a sensor, another is an actuator. Now, what is a sensor and what is the actuator? So actuator is nothing but a device which is responsible for the movement of the appliances. Let's say the door. If we'll talk about the door, if we'll put the different type of actuator. So this is one actuator which will be used. So there is a linear motion on it. We give the power as well as we will give the signal. So here we have, let's say, two pins are there. One pin is to give the power to the particular actuator, and second, it will give the signal. It has go to up direction or it has go to the down direction. It will tell the actuator according to the signal. The same thing we can do with the relays. Relays is also an actuator. Here also we'll provide two things. We give the power to the actuator as well as we give the signal to the actuator. So the signal will tell the appliances to on and off. So it is very much famous actuator for electronic appliances, for making the electronic appliances on or off. Then we have different type of motors, right? Servo motors and different type of motors are working as an actuator for moving the machine or to moving anything. Let's say we want to make an irrigation system for that, right? And let's say in the field, if the humidity is very less in the soil and the temperature is high, so we have to on the pump. So if we'll give the signal to the pump, so pump will be on for the water logging into the field. So all those are different type of actuators that we use in IoT infrastructure along with the sensors. So sensors and actuators both are very much useful in IoT infrastructure for the first component, that is things and devices. So about that we'll see practically. Next thing which are very much required here is different type of microcontrollers and different type of microprocessor which are useful in the IoT infrastructure. So we have a different, we have Node MCU. Node MCU is a very famous microcontroller that we'll use. You see that there is Arduino microcontroller. There is Raspberry Pi here. There is AMD microprocessor. So there are different type of microprocessor that are here. If you see, there are different pins, right? There are different pins. There are different pins. So all those pins are used for the connectivity to the sensor. And these sensor is connected with the microcontroller and will become a sensor node. So there is a concept of sensor and there is a concept of sensor node. So when we give, so sensor will just generate the data from the environment, and this generated data will be given to these type of microcontrollers. It has the capacity of storing the data, processing the data, and as well as communicating the data. So when a sensor will be attached to these sort of microcontrollers, that is called sensor node. And these sensor node will put together along with the sensor and the actuator into the object. So that object will be connected to the internet through these devices. So you see, object is connected, or we can connect any object to the internet through the sensor node. We require to attach a sensor node into the object. And through that only we can say that we will connect these devices, or sorry, these objects, any of the object, whether it's a living object or a non-living object, to the internet. So all these are required. These are all programmable. There are small, very small version of these microcontroller also used to come, in which we'll put one program, and this program will do one work only and will embed into any of the object. The size of those smaller part of these microcontrollers are very small, that actually will use for the implementation or the actual usage purpose. For the implementation and to understand what is IoT and how we are dealing with that, we use all these microcontrollers which are programmable and which is very easy to use for understanding the concept of IoT. So I think you understood. So what we have seen different type of sensors. We'll use some of the sensors in the hands-on. Then we have different type of actuator which will be useful. These are for electronic appliances, and these are for different others requirements. The actuators, which has different motion, right? It has the linear motion and it has a circular motion. So these are all the different motors, and this is also an actuator which will move in a not in a circular way. It will move in a linear way. Then we have different type of microcontroller which are useful for the purpose of IoT infrastructure. Okay. Now let's talk about very important thing related to IoT is its application. What are the different applications related to IoT and that we used to see in today's world? So the first application of IoT is smart home. So in a smart home application, we'll use the IoT infrastructure. If we want to make our home smart, let's say we want to make a smart door or a smart appliances, or all the objects I want to connect to the internet, that I can do. I use my curtain or a different type of curtain which will be open and close. On that, I have to put some sort of sensor node and actuator which can actually do that. So in the smart home, let me tell you some examples. Let's say in the door we have the face recognition system. Based on the face recognition system, my door will open. Let's say I am entering into the room, and based on my presence, the room light, if the intensity of the light is very less, let's say I am moving into the night time, so my light will go up, my fan will go up if the temperature is very high, or my AC will go on if the temperature is high. If I am not in the room, it will be switched off as it is not occupied. If somebody is knocking the door, it will find it out and tell us that who is coming through the face recognition system, or some biometric system will attach to the door for more security purposes. In the night time, it will do the power saving. If we are putting the clothes in the, let's say in the washing machine, the washing machine will be on when I am not in the home. Let's say if I am not working, means the least consumption of energy is happening into the home, then only this washing machine is working, because it is anytime we can use it, right? So in that way it will efficiently utilize the energy of my home, and in that way it is very easy to to be here in the home, it will is a concept of smart home. You can also make the smart home concept. That is very much possible. Now the second application is wearable. We can have a smart watch. We can have some sort of smart pendant. In fact, some of my students have created a wearable device which is a smart pendant, and this smart pendant is very much useful uh, for the girls, right? Let's say, and if they seek any sort of help at any point of time, because they have this pendant with them, they will just touch that particular pendant for a longer period of time. So that pendant will send the location of the girl to registered number, as well as it will give the alarm to nearby police station. It will on the camera which is inside that, and it will record it into the cloud, and it will have a system in which it will generate very large decibel of sound, so that all people which are in the surrounding can actually see what is happening there. So these pendant has been made by the student last year, and they have presented in different hackathons, and this is an example of IoT application. Smartwatch, as I told you, is an application, IoT application. Your different type of smart wearable devices are today we talk about Google Glass, right? Is also an example of wearable IoT device. Next is smart city. So smart city itself is having a vast application in which we talk about smart transportation system, smart what we can say disaster management system, a smart water management system, a smart electricity management system, smart hospitalization system. Uh, what else? Like, so all these are different applications of smart cities. Then we have some example like smart grids. Smart grids are nothing but whole power distribution system. If we want to connect connect it through the IoT technology, so in the smart grid, we easily identify that in which particular region there are electricity usage are more, and which particular region there are less electricity required. So in that way, what we can do is we can distribute these electricity in an efficient way, and we can manage the load of the electricity energy. We can also reduce we can also monitor the leakage of the power that is happening through the transmission. We can easily monitor the usage of each and every home itself through the smart metering technology or through the smart meter. And this smart grid concept is going on, in which can we send the data and can we send and receive the data through this power terminal or through these power lines, right? Power lines means the high voltage power line, which are for the electricity transmission. Can we use it for the data transmission? So the research is still going on that, and this is a main application, a good application of IoT in the smart distribution of electricity. Then in the industrial application, it is happening. So we say industrial IoT, right? Industrial Internet of Things. So in which we can use the concept of IoT into the industry. We can monitor the production. we can actually monitor different type of leakage of gases. We can monitor fires and all. As well as this industrial IoT will help us to do the production according to our requirements. So if, let's say, we want to change the design, we can easily do that with the help of this IoT technology. We can design our assembly line very efficiently. So all those things are very much possible through the IoT infrastructure in industry, that is called industrial internet of things. Then we have connected cars. Connected car is an application very much what forthcoming technology which are coming here is connected car, where all the cars which are moving into the road will be connected to the internet. That is also called internet of vehicles, right? And the concept of mobile ad hoc network or vehicular ad hoc network has been merged up with this IOV, internet of vehicles, in which what happen is every car is connected to the cloud which are nearby, and in that way we can know that what is the uh, traffic in that particular area. If we want to give the assistant to a particular user, we can give it where it want to go, which particular route it has to take. Based on that, we can manage the traffic of the whole city through this connected car. As well as through that connected car, it is very much possible to make an autonomous car. So the autonomous car is only possible when the IOV is possible. This internet of vehicle infrastructure is possible, where all the vehicles are connected to each other as well as with the cloud. And this cloud will tell you that what is going on and how you can move yourself, and in which direction you can go, which is more safer way to go, and which is more fast way to reach to your destination. As well as we can monitor that how many cars are coming into the city, which is coming just now, which is coming out outside from the city, which is going out to the city. So all those things we can easily monitor it. Connected health, which is a very vast application, it is called internet of medical health, right? In which the concept is that most of the hospital or the nearby hospital should be connected to each other. Whatever diagnosis they do, whatever precautions they use could be stored into one cloud. And there is a application like let's say there is a patient one, and this patient one is suffering from some sort of disease, and he has been treated in, let's say, hospital A. And the data of the diagnosis, that how it has been done, what is the symptom it has, and what is the medical report it has, all that we are putting into the cloud. Let's say the same similar case has been coming up in the hospital B. So the hospital B can get the access of the similar type of disease that has been suffered by almost similar background of the patient. So this diagnosis will help the doctor to diagnose that particular patient very efficiently. As well as connected health is used for monitoring the patient. The patient is connected with different type of devices. These devices are nothing but the sensors only, which will find out the heartbeat, blood pressure, and all those things, and oxygen usage in the inside intact, and how much oxygen it is required. All those things will be monitored by the doctor through this connected health system. So it will work in a local also, it will work in a global also. Next application of connected health could be that all those records can be maintained, and whenever that patient will go to other hospital, so his record or his medical history could be come up with the hospital, and based on the previous medical history, it will easily identify and easily find out the problem what a patient is facing. So it is very much useful application of IoT. It is difficult to make all those infrastructure, but yeah, we can make it, right. We can make it for the betterment of the human being. We can make it for the ease of the hospitalization system, and it is very much useful. Smart retailing. In the retailing system, we can use these IoT infrastructure by which we can monitor the object where it is. You might have seen, like, with the help of scanning those objects, a retail, if you'll go to the retail shop, it will scan that particular object and it will find it out which object, what is the price of that object is. And based on that, the inventory will be managed as well as the invoice will be generated. Next thing we can do is all these devices we can connect with the RFID, and this RFID tag will be scanned by the RFID scanner. Based on that, we'll know that that object is where it is right now. What is the last location of that particular object? Whether it is it's been sold or it is still there in the shop. So all those things are very much possible with the help of another application which is called a smart retail. Then we have a smart supply chain that we can make, that with the object we can put the RFID tag, and again we can monitor where that particular object is right now, right? Smart farming. So farming and this is very famous application right now, which will use the IoT application in farming. And many, I know some 2 or 3 person who are doing research in IoT in the application of farming only. And they are doing work on that, how we can make the farming system more productive through the use of the IoT. So all these are different applications related to IoT, and this is a particular application is a particular to the smart city, waste management system, public safety, smart home, smart communication, smart infrastructure, educational technology platform. Right now it is very much useful, right? Educational technology platform where all the educational institutes are connected with each other. And let's say if I am talking to a particular topic, so other institutions student can also join it and can be benefited for it. Smart community, central management service, smart services, monitoring environment, all these are different application of a smart city. Okay, and you can work in any of these applications to enhance it. So I want to show you these things. Like, we have some sensors. So this is one sensor. If you'll see, this is the DHT sensor that we'll use further in the hands-on sessions when we have these hands-on session at that particular time. And this is the microcontroller that we'll use, that is Node MCU. It is very easy to use, as well as it has the connectivity of the internet. It has the Wi-Fi enabled, right? So this device can be easily connected through the internet via any access point. So we'll just connect it to the access point and the device will be connected to the internet. So that we'll see later portion of the FDP. So that's it for today's lecture, introductory part of the IoT. So I can say that I can conclude it like IoT technology is no longer a luxury we have, but it is a necessity. So in today's world, we require the IoT infrastructure. It is very much useful, you all know. And it is very much the integral part of our daily life and the usage of it. And right now, this technology is not a luxury, it is a necessity. So that's all for my side. So I'll hand